Picture this. You're 52 years old, hitting the gym consistently for decades, feeling stronger than ever. Then one day, during what seems like a routine workout, you feel that sharp pain in your shoulder during front raises. 6 weeks later, you're still dealing with rotator cuff inflammation, wondering if you'll ever lift pain-free again. If this scenario sounds familiar, or if you're approaching your 50s and want to avoid this nightmare altogether, you're in the right place. Today, we're exposing 8 isolation exercises that could be sabotaging your training longevity. And more importantly, I'll show you the safer alternatives that will keep you lifting strong for decades to come. I'm about to share something that most fitness influencers won't tell you. The exercises that worked in your 30s might be setting you up for injury in your 50s and beyond. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll have a complete roadmap to injury-proof your isolation training. Before we dive into the specific exercises, let's address the elephant in the room. I'm not here to scare you away from the gym or make you feel like you're too old to train hard. Quite the opposite. I want you lifting weights until you're 90 and beyond. But here's what changes after 50 that most people ignore. Your body isn't just older, it's fundamentally different. Your bone density decreases by about 1% per year after age 50. Your tendons and ligaments lose elasticity, becoming more like dried leather than fresh rubber bands. Your recovery time increases, and your margin for error decreases significantly. This doesn't mean you're fragile. It means you need to be smarter. The key isn't avoiding challenge. It's choosing the right challenges that maximize results while minimizing risk. Research from the American College of Sports Medicine shows that adults over 50 who strength train regularly have a 40% lower risk of falls and fractures. And this is crucial. Those same benefits disappear when injuries sideline you for months at a time. Exercise #8, front raises. Let's start with one of the most overrated shoulder exercises, front raises. Walk into any gym, and you'll see people of all ages swinging dumbbells up in front of their bodies, often with weights that are far too heavy in form that makes me cringe. Here's what's really happening during front raises. As you lift that weight up front, you're creating a pinching mechanism in your shoulder joint. The space between your upper arm bone and a bony projection called the acromion becomes narrower. If you have any inflammation, bone spurs, or simply the natural wear that comes with decades of living, this pinching can trap tendons and cause serious damage. I learned this lesson the hard way through my client Marcus, a 54-year-old former college athlete who came to me with chronic shoulder pain. For years, he'd been doing front raises with 35-pound dumbbells, proud of his strength. But an MRI revealed significant rotator cuff fraying, and his orthopedic surgeon traced it directly to repetitive overhead movements with poor shoulder mechanics. The frustrating part? Marcus was unknowingly doing redundant work. Every time you bench press, do push-ups, or perform any chest exercise, your front deltoids are already working hard. Adding front raises on top of that is like doing extra bicep curls after already doing pull-ups. It's overkill that increases injury risk without proportional benefits. The smart alternative: lateral raises with perfect form. Focus on lifting the weights to shoulder height, no higher, with a slight forward lean. This targets the often neglected side deltoids, creating that coveted V-taper while keeping your shoulders healthy. Start with weights that feel almost too light. Your ego might hurt, but your joints will thank you. Real-world application. One of my clients, Sarah, 56, switched from front raises to lateral raises 6 months ago. Not only did her shoulder pain disappear, but she's actually built more noticeable shoulder width because we were finally targeting the right muscles with the right exercises. Exercise #7. Triceps kickbacks. Triceps kickbacks look harmless enough. You're just extending your arm behind you with a dumbbell. But biomechanically, this exercise is a disaster waiting to happen for the over 50 crowd. The problem is position. Your shoulder is in extreme external rotation while your elbow repeatedly flexes and extends under load. It's like asking your shoulder to perform gymnastics while your elbow does heavy lifting. For younger athletes with bulletproof joints, this might be manageable. For mature adults, it's playing with fire. Consider the case of Tom, a 58-year-old client who came to me after developing what he called triceps tendinitis. He'd been doing kickbacks 3 times per week for months, gradually increasing the weight. What started as a slight ache became a sharp pain that made simple tasks like reaching for his coffee cup excruciating. The issue wasn't just the shoulder position. It was the compound stress on multiple joints simultaneously. Research shows that after age 40, our tendons lose approximately 1% of their elasticity per year. When you combine this natural aging process with repetitive stress in compromised positions, you're accelerating wear and tear. The smart alternative: cable triceps extensions or overhead triceps extensions with proper support. Cables allow you to adjust the angle to find your comfortable range of motion, and they provide constant tension throughout the movement. Actually, superior muscle stimulation compared to free weights. If you prefer the feeling of the arm behind the body position, try supported triceps extensions using an incline bench. This gives your spine support while allowing you to work the triceps through a full range of motion safely. Personal insight: I've trained hundreds of clients over 50, and those who switched from kickbacks to cable work reported not just less pain, but better muscle development. The controlled motion and adjustable resistance let them focus on muscle contraction rather than joint survival. Exercise #6. Dumbbell flies. Dumbbell flies have been a chest-building staple for decades. The stretch at the bottom, the squeeze at the top, it feels like you're sculpting your pecs directly. But for mature adults, this exercise is a shoulder injury waiting to happen. The danger zone is at the bottom of the movement, when your arms are wide open and the dumbbells are at their lowest point. In this position, your shoulders are in extreme external rotation combined with horizontal adduction. Fancy terms for your shoulders are being stretched to their limit while under load. This became painfully clear with my client David, a 51-year-old who'd been doing flies with 50-pound dumbbells for years. One day, he went slightly deeper than usual and felt something pop in his shoulder. 6 months of physical therapy later, he was finally cleared to return to training, but with permanent restrictions on overhead movements. The research backs this up. Studies show that the electrical activity in your shoulder stabilizers during dumbbell flies is significantly higher than during other chest exercises. Your rotator cuff muscles are working overtime to keep your shoulder joint stable in this vulnerable position. After 50, when these stabilizers are naturally weaker and less resilient, this extra work can lead to premature fatigue and decreased joint protection. The smart alternative: machine flies or cable flies. These variations provide the same muscle stretch and contraction but with guided movement patterns that protect your joints. The machine version is particularly beneficial because it eliminates the risk of losing control of heavy weights, a real concern when your grip strength and reaction time aren't what they used to be. Professional observation: in my 15 years of training, I've never seen a client over 50 develop shoulder problems from machine flies, but I've seen dozens struggle with pain from free weight versions. The guided motion isn't limiting your gains. It's preserving your ability to train consistently for years to come. Exercise #5. Seated calf raises. This might surprise you. Seated calf raises seem so benign. You're just sitting down, placing weight on your thighs, and lifting your heels. What could go wrong? The problem is compression. In the seated position, all that weight is pressing down directly on your knees through your thigh bones. After 50, your knee cartilage is naturally beginning to thin and lose its shock-absorbing properties. Adding repetitive compression load accelerates this wear and tear. Research from sports medicine journals shows that seated calf raises produce significantly higher intra-articular pressure in the knee compared to standing versions. This increased pressure, repeated set after set, can accelerate cartilage breakdown and contribute to early arthritis. I witnessed this firsthand with Linda, a 53-year-old who developed severe knee pain after months of heavy seated calf raises. She was loading 200 pounds onto the machine, proud of her strength progression. But MRI revealed early-stage cartilage damage that her orthopedist directly linked to repetitive compression stress. The smart alternative: Standing calf raises distribute the load through your entire skeletal system, ankles, knees, hips, and spine, working together as they're designed to do. This natural weight distribution dramatically reduces joint-specific stress while actually providing better muscle activation. Electromyography studies show that standing calf raises more effectively activate the gastrocnemius, the larger calf muscle that contributes most to the size and shape you're probably trying to build. So you're not just being safer, you're being more effective. Training tip: if you miss the isolation feeling of seated raises, try single-leg standing calf raises. The unilateral loading provides intense muscle stimulation while maintaining safe joint positioning. Exercise #4. Concentration curls. Made famous by Arnold Schwarzenegger, concentration curls have an almost mythical status in bodybuilding culture. The focused isolation, the mind-muscle connection, the peak contraction. It seems perfect for building bicep peaks. But the biomechanics tell a different story. The extremely supinated wrist position combined with complete elbow flexion creates abnormally high tension on the biceps tendon. Research analyzing tendon forces during different curl variations found that concentration curls generated significantly higher tension peaks compared to standing or seated alternatives. This excessive tension becomes problematic after 50 when your tendons are naturally less elastic and more prone to micro-tears. These small injuries might not hurt immediately, but they accumulate over time, potentially leading to chronic tendinitis or even tendon ruptures. There's also the spinal issue. The seated position with your trunk bent forward and twisted to support your arm places your lower back in a compromised position. For someone with existing back issues, which includes most adults over 50, this posture can exacerbate problems and create new ones. Real-world example: my client Robert, 49, developed chronic bicep tendon pain that we traced directly to heavy concentration curls. He was using 45-pound dumbbells and couldn't understand why his perfectly isolated exercise was causing problems. The issue wasn't the weight or even his form, it was the inherent biomechanical stress of the exercise itself. The smart alternative: straight bar or Z-bar curls with both arms working together. This bilateral movement allows you to use heavier weights, providing a more significant muscle-building stimulus. The Z-bar's angled grip is particularly beneficial, placing your wrists in a more natural position and reducing stress on your forearms and elbows. Scientific backing: studies on muscle hypertrophy consistently show that the ability to progressively overload, use heavier weights over time, is crucial for continued muscle growth, especially as we age and fight against sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss. Bilateral movements simply allow for greater loading than isolation exercises. Exercise #3. Traditional sit-ups. Perhaps no exercise is more deeply ingrained in fitness culture than the traditional sit-up. From elementary school fitness tests to military training, we've been taught that sit-ups equal core strength. But for mature adults, this exercise is a spinal health disaster. The biomechanics are frightening. Each repetition of a traditional sit-up imposes approximately 3,300 newtons of compressive force on your lumbar spine. That's equivalent to 748 pounds of pressure crushing down on your lower back. Dr. Stuart McGill, the world's leading spine biomechanics researcher, has extensively documented how this repetitive compression accelerates disc degeneration. After 50, your intervertebral discs naturally lose water content and elasticity. They become less capable of absorbing and distributing these massive compressive forces. The result: accelerated disc wear, increased hernia risk, and chronic back pain. Tragic example. One of the most heartbreaking cases I've encountered was Jennifer, a 52-year-old who religiously did 200 sit-ups every morning for core health. She ended up with 2 herniated discs requiring surgery, effectively ending her fitness journey for over a year. The irony? She was trying to strengthen her back, but was actually destroying it. The neck pulling that accompanies most sit-ups adds another layer of danger. Many people unconsciously yank on their head and neck, creating excessive cervical spine stress that can exacerbate conditions like cervical spondylosis, degenerative changes that become more common with age. The smart alternative: planks and their variations. Planks work your entire core: rectus abdominis, oblique, transverse abdominis, and spinal erectors, while maintaining your spine in its natural neutral alignment. Research comparing muscle activation levels shows that planks produce comparable core activation to sit-ups, but with dramatically less spinal stress. Progressive approach: start with basic planks, then progress to side planks, plank variations with arm or leg movements, and eventually weighted planks. This progression provides years of challenge without compromising spinal health. Exercise #2. Sven Press. The Sven Press, pressing weight plates between your palms, might look innovative, but it's biomechanically problematic for mature adults. The exercise forces your wrists into extension while applying constant pressure, creating stress on delicate wrist structures that are already prone to age-related changes. The shoulder position is equally concerning. The extreme horizontal adduction combined with internal rotation needed to keep the plates pressed together compresses structures in your shoulder joint. Research shows this combined positioning significantly increases intra-articular pressure and impingement risk. Practical problems: beyond the injury risk, the Sven Press has significant limitations. Load progression is awkward and limited. You can add more plates, but this makes the exercise increasingly unwieldy. The muscle stimulation is relatively weak compared to proven chest exercises. The smart alternative: traditional dumbbell bench press or machine bench press. These exercises allow natural wrist positioning, proper load progression, and superior muscle activation. The dumbbell version provides unilateral training benefits, while the machine version offers stability and safety for those with balance or coordination concerns. Exercise #1. Side bends. Side bends might seem like a logical way to target your obliques, but they're actually one of the most spine-damaging exercises you can do after 50. The asymmetric loading creates uneven pressure on your intervertebral discs, compressing one side while stretching the other. When your discs are young and healthy, they can handle this asymmetric stress. But after 50, when discs are naturally losing hydration and elasticity, this uneven loading accelerates degeneration and increases herniation risk. Movement compensation issues: most people perform side bends incorrectly, adding trunk rotation or excessive lumbar extension. These compensations increase stress on facet joints and intervertebral ligaments, structures that become more vulnerable with age. The smart alternative: captain's chair leg raises or hanging leg raises performed laterally. These exercises work your obliques while maintaining spinal neutrality, eliminating the dangerous asymmetric loading of traditional side bends. Here's what I want you to remember from today's discussion. Getting older doesn't mean getting weaker, but it does mean getting smarter about exercise selection. Every exercise choice is a risk-benefit calculation, and the math changes as we age. The 3 pillars of smart training after 50. Joint-friendly movement patterns. Choose exercises that work with your anatomy, not against it. Progressive overload within safe ranges. Continue challenging yourself, but within biomechanically sound positions. Consistency over intensity. The best workout is the one you can do consistently for decades. Your action plan. Audit your current routine against today's list. Make substitutions gradually. Don't overhaul everything at once. Focus on form and control rather than ego lifting. Listen to your body and adjust accordingly. Remember, the goal isn't just to look good now. It's to maintain strength, mobility, and independence for life. The exercises I've shared today will help you build muscle, burn fat, and stay injury-free well into your golden years. Final thought: I've been training people over 50 for more than a decade, and the most successful clients aren't necessarily the strongest or the most dedicated. They're the smartest. They understand that longevity beats intensity every time. Your body has served you well for 5 decades or more. Show it the respect it deserves by choosing exercises that build it up rather than break it down. Train smart, stay consistent, and keep lifting for life. If this video helped you rethink your training approach, make sure to subscribe for more evidence-based fitness content designed specifically for mature adults. What other exercises would you like me to analyze? Drop your suggestions in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.